Hey guys, and welcome to my second Street Rage 4 video, and in this video I'm going to sum up every character on the roster, so join me as I go through the pros and the cons of everyone in this game. Please bear in mind I'm only a casual player, which just means I won't know all the ins and outs. Also bear in mind this is just my opinion, so if you've got your own tier lists or characters you love playing as, please let me know in the comments. Other than that, let's get right into it. First, let's talk about the Street Rage 1 characters. I'm lumping all these in the same sort of section because they literally all play the exact same. All Street Rage 1 characters have one combo and no special moves. So instead, pressing the special move button does your ultimate star move instead. Meaning if you press the wrong button, you've just used your ultimate star move and nothing. Which does happen if you don't know what you're doing. I'd say compared to the other cast members, these are just for like nostalgic purposes and stuff like that, or if you want to add a little bit more difficulty to your gameplay. So overall, these characters are very easy to use, but they do have less combat options, meaning they have less invincibility options at their disposal. So I personally just use them for earlier levels, just so I can get the nostalgia in a bit. Anyways, let's move on to Axel. Also, for characters that have appeared in numerous entries in the series, I'll try and group them together so it's easy to digest. Anyways, let's go into Axel in his Street Rage 2 form. In his Street Rage 2 phase, he has a few more options as he has special moves, meaning he has more combo potential and defense due to special move invincibility. Now, despite looking like Jean-Claude Van Damme, the Street Rage 2 Axel is fun to play with. He has his own classic moves that do quite a bit of damage. My only gripe with the character is that his natural speed is just really slow, but to combat that I would personally use the Tiger Knee Blitz move, as with this move he jumps forward. If you can spam this move, you can get across the screen pretty easily. Overall, I'd say he's a really good character, but he's just slow. And without the DLC, it's going to be hard to cover distance. Next up is Axel in his Street Rage 3 rendition, who is personally one of my favourite characters to play as. So unfortunately, you guys got to watch and listen to me absolutely suck his balls. The main reason why I love his Street Rage 3 version is because all Street Rage 3 characters can run, and they can also roll upwards or downwards, meaning this guy can haul ass at the touch of a button, which honestly makes him one of the strongest characters for me. Also, his natural blitz move, the Grand Upper, the classic uppercut he has, can hit off the ground, meaning he can extend combos. So yeah, overall he's a really strong character and I love playing as him. Next up is Axel in his Street Rage 4 form. Axel in his Street Rage 4 version looks like he ate his other phases, obviously for the protein, as he is absolutely massive. Anyway, let's go into his gameplay. As it's his latest phase, his special moves look really good. Obviously it's based on like Ryu or Ken from Street Fighter, as he does fire uppercuts but also says that he's doing the uppercut. As you play as this version of Axel, you can feel the power behind him. It's almost like you can just feel the bones just shattering on his face, it's ridiculous. Despite the strength, he also has the same weakness as his Street Rage 2 version, but he does have alternate moves and also normal moves that can help him cover distance more. I would personally say the Street Rage 3 and 4 versions are your best bet if you want to play as Axel. I would say if you don't have the DLC, the Street Rage 3 version is probably the best, but if you have the DLCs, I'd say Street Rage 4 Axel is also a good shout as he has a lot more options too. His unlockable moves give him a lot more free range to like get across the screen and like do damage quickly. And on that note, let's move on to the next character, Blaze. When talking about her Street Rage 2 and 3 versions, it's literally the same as Axel. The Street Rage 2 version is classic but slow, so using alternate moves may be necessary to combat the speed deficiency. And as for the Street Rage 3 version, I do think that her Street Rage 3 version is a better all-round character as she can run and roll. And I also forgot to mention that some Street Rage 3 characters have a special running weapon move. For example, giving Blaze a knife and running with her in this version, you can do a little knife uppercut, which is nice because it gives the weapons a little bit of diversity within these characters. Now on to Blaze in her final Street Rage 4 form. And goddamn, she is thick. And by thick, I mean thicker than a bowl of porridge with a little bit of water in it, you know what I mean, fellas? Like, Jesus. She got them watermelon crushing thighs, you know what I mean? In all seriousness though, she's a really fun character to play as. I would suggest using her alternate blitz and regular air special to help cover distance. A very good pick indeed. She's also proficient in knife wielding. This makes sense as she's British. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Anyways, next up is Cherry and Skate. I've put these two together in their own section as they do play very similar, which makes sense as they are related. Skate is actually Cherry's uncle. Family bonding has never been so painful. Both have hit and run tactics, they move hella fast with lots of moves that can cover lots of distance. Cherry can help you roleplay any destructive rock star fantasies you may have by smashing guitars and just blowing out massive power chords. Overall, really fun to play as. Skate is always whizzing around and headbutting people, whilst also showing his killer breakdance moves. Personally, one of my favourite Street Rage 2 characters. His Street Rage 3 version is literally the same thing, except he can roll. Overall, a very fun and speedy character to play as. Bit of a side note, I personally would love a Skate DLC though, just to see how he would play and how he's grown up and stuff like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. Anyways, back to the characters. Next up is Floyd and Dr Zan, the cyborgs of the series. Floyd is built like a boulder, and he hits like one too. I would personally say this character is really good at crowd control, as he can just grab enemies from across the screen, or better yet with his alternate moves, you can blast them any way you want. But again, he is quite a slow character, but his air specials are really good at closing the distance. Whether it be the slide move he has, or the boing boing move he has, you can get to where you need to be very, very quickly. And now on to Dr Zan, who is another one of my favourites in the series. As I played Street Rage 3 as a kid, I usually played as the Doctor of Electronics himself. Like one of his special moves, I used to call the nipple squeeze and just abuse it every time I could. So you just see me like a little 8-year-old kid just running going nipple squeeze and squeezing everyone's nips. Yeah, I was a really weird kid. Anyway, as is from Street Rage 3, he also has all the advantages of the other Street Rage 3 cast members. The only difference is he can't use weapons normally, he just transforms them into energy balls. And with these energy balls, he can just bowl them across the screen, which feels really good to land. All I'm gonna say is if you want to play as an old cyborg man on heelys, here's your guy. The next character would have been Adam, but I've already covered him in my previous video. But to summarise, he's a really beefy character that can do literally anything. Personally, I'd say he's probably one of the best starter characters if you want to try and learn the ropes a little bit. Overall, a pretty solid choice. The next character I'm going to cover is Max. Max in his Street Rage 2 version is very slow. My guy's built like a tank, but he also moves like one too. If you spam his blitz move, you could potentially get a little bit more speed out of it. I would personally suggest learning the game a little bit more, just so you can combat his speed deficiency like more effectively. And now on to Max in his Street Rage 4 version, and Jesus Christ, this character is so fun to play with. First off, he has more moves at his disposal, meaning his speed disadvantage is way easier to control. And weirdly enough, with one of his grapple moves, he has a lightning strike added to it. So not only do you get power slammed by the world's biggest protein shake, you get slammed by Zeus himself. And hitting this move for the first time is so hype you have no idea. As you can tell, I do prefer the Street Rage 4 version, as the Street Rage 2 version is just far too slow for me. Plus, he summons lightning strikes via body slam, why wouldn't you play as this guy? So yeah, a very strong character. The next character would have been Roo the Kangaroo, but with the same as Adam, I've already covered him in my previous video. So to summarise, Roo has instant combos and stun locks aplenty, so if you like getting high combos with no effort, this is the character for you. Again, another really good starting character. Next up is Estelle, who at first glance may seem like one of the most boring characters in the roster, but in terms of gameplay she's a crowd control queen. She has flashbangs, grenades and an ultimate that covers the screen in explosions, so if you're surrounded and playing as Estelle you won't be surrounded for long. She also has a few moves that help her cover the screen as well, so speed in her case is not a factor at all. So overall she has all the tools to deal with any scenario, whether it's solo play or with friends. A very strong character. Last but not least is Shiva. Let's start with his Street Rage 3 rendition. This version is very fast with some amazing looking moves. He also has the power behind him to make him a really solid character overall. He's a strong character sure, but I think his worst trait is the fact that they added the Street Rage 4 version of Shiva in this game. As comparing these two versions side by side is just really unfair. Like the Street Rage 4 version of Shiva has so much more to him than his Street Rage 3 counterpart, it's unreal. So how about we dive into that? Here is Shiva in his Street Rage 4 form. This version of Shiva has so many different combos. So many combos in fact that it feels like a fighting game character, as he has so many options in combat. Hell, he can even combo off weapons. Sure, he can't use weapons, but he can just bop them at terminal velocity at the enemies and just kill them. Worse yet, you can spam this and get massive combos just by pressing a button. This guy hits hard and has the speed to combo off anyone else in co-op. Even in solo play, this guy is broken. He has multiple hit air combos, meaning you can just do a massive ground combo, then hit him up for another massive combo. If you know what you're doing, no enemy stands a chance. As soon as you hit them in a combo, they're done. But most of his moves do look great and are a joy to see. When playing co-op with my sister, she usually mains Shiva, and when she plays as that character, I don't need to do anything. She's already won the game for me. That's how strong this character is. Fun fact, he shares his name with the Hindu god of destruction, Shiva, so it makes sense why he's so overpowered. So overall, for a casual player, Shiva is the most broken character on the roster. I do think his only weakness is he's only as good as you are in terms of like gameplay knowledge. When you've learned all the ropes and know all the ins and outs, definitely give Shiva a go, as learning Shiva's moveset is very rewarding, and when you've done that you can just see how well this character plays. And with that, that's all of the roster covered. Again, I would like to iterate that I am not a pro gamer. This is a very casual opinion on the roster, so if you disagree and think a character's better than I think, please let me know in the comments. But either way, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Ciao for now. God, that was...